National People's Power leader Anura Kumara Dissanayake was sworn in as the 9th Executive President of Sri Lanka on Monday. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Anura Kumara Dissanayake for his victory in the Sri Lankan presidential polls. In a post on platform X, Prime Minister Modi wrote, and I quote, "Congratulations Anura Kumara Dissanayake on your victory in the Sri Lankan presidential elections. Sri Lanka holds a special place in India's neighbourhood first policy and vision saga. I look forward to working closely with you to further strengthen our multifaceted cooperation for the benefit of our people and the entire region." Unquote. And responding to the Prime Minister's post, President Dissanayake pledged to engage in collaborative efforts for the benefit of the region. In a post, he said, and I quote, "Thank you, Prime Minister Modi, for your kind words and support. I share your commitment to strengthen the ties between our nations. Together, we can work towards enhancing cooperation for the benefit of our people and the entire region." Unquote. President of the India-Sri Lanka Society and Vice President of the Indian CEO Forum, Kishore Reddy, congratulated Lanka's new president and hoped that Dissanayake would take this country to new heights.
I would like to congratulate His Excellency Anura Kumara Dissanayake as he takes over oath as the 9th Executive President of Sri Lanka. It is for the people of Sri Lanka to choose, and the people have spoken and made everybody proud in making democracy the biggest winner, not just in having a peaceful election, but for a very smooth transition. As neighbors and as civilizational twins of the same culture, we always wish Sri Lanka the best. And all our wishes are with President Dissanayake and his team for a speedy economic recovery and in taking Sri Lanka to new heights.
And let us now try and understand Sri Lankan elections verdict with Dr. Ahmed Muin Faruqi joining us from Colombo. So he has been elected as the president of Sri Lanka, Anura Dissanayake, defeating political bigwigs like Ranil Wickremesinghe. But the timings here is very crucial, taking over when it's already, beleaguered economy. Many challenges up ahead.
Sakal, you see this situation right now in which Sri Lanka is, it's something which is quite unnatural for Sri Lanka as such. Not just because, the economy is in this condition, but also because the political landscape has changed drastically over the last 3-4 years. If you look at even before the elections, if you go through the 2022's economic downturn, at that point of time, there was considerable anger, there was considerable angst among the people. And that led to a requirement a feeling of requirement within the people that there was a desire for change. That was something which was rampantly present at that point of time. Meanwhile, with the President Ranil Wickremesinghe, who had come forward and taken the mantle in 2020 July, it appeared as if the island was moving towards some sense of stability. However, now with the presidential elections, we have seen that the NPP leader Anura Kumara Dissanayake defeated comfortably both the leaders, that is SJV leader Sajjit Premadasa, as well as the previous president Ranil Wickremesinghe, and has gone on to become the 9th executive president. It is a very challenging time for Sri Lanka indeed, not just because of these circumstances, but also because Sri Lanka is coping through a very bad economic crisis, right, something which it has been the worst in its entire history of last 7 decades. And at this time, it's also pertinent to note that the IMF deal which Sri Lanka had struck for $2.9 billion, yes, that is in force. And as of now, we have been told that about just 2-3 days back, Sri Lanka had even secured the ISB bondholders deal. And thereafter, the government had announced that officially now Sri Lanka is out of bankruptcy. However, the debt repayments will commence in 2029. So as there is a moratorium on the bilateral debt payments till 2028, so the NPP government, which is right now in force, will have considerable time to ensure that the revenues of the government are ramped up, GDP is increased, and take adequate measures to ensure that when the debt repayments start, it will not cause considerable turmoil on the economy.
But
that is how it is right now, sir.
Yes, Dr. Marini, he is also in fact promised about renegotiating the terms of Sri Lanka's $2.9 debt that you are also talking about, the billion bailout with the International Monetary Fund. So he has many challenges lined up in, if you look at his, the master plan for the future, economy tops the list. And what about the stability of the government?
Sakal, it's a very big area as of now, as you have mentioned rightly. In the manifesto of NPP, this was something which was laid out in a very, very bold manner, primarily because they were considering that economy is a very key issue in the elections. And rightly so, people had been going through considerable difficulty when inflation had touched a high of 70%, when forex reserves had been down to almost zero. From that point to now, there does appear that there's some sense of stability with inflation now having come down to less than 2%. There is not much which is visible, but still, if you look at the real inflation, if you look at month-to-month inflation, it is definitely still there. Now, considering all this, if we look at the promises made by President Dissanayake, it is first of all, reducing of the income tax levels, the reduction of VAT levels, reduction of pay tax levels. Apart from that, he has also talked about reduction of electricity tariff levels. If I may inform all our viewers here, the electricity tariffs had almost tripled when the Aragalaya movement was going on, and immediately after that, people had to endure almost 3 times to 4 times the total amount of electricity bills at their homes. Not just this, even the petrol, diesel, and various other fuel charges had also been increased at that point of time. So these are all the promises in which President Dissanayake had made, wherein he has talked about taking care of austerity measures to such an extent that it can be easy for the common man, for the poor man. And that is how it is. Meanwhile, at the same time, I would also want to add here that it is going to be a tough task, because not just this, the government has to ensure that the revenues are sufficiently there while they take care of these measures. Debt sustainability analysis of the IMF had suggested that revenue is something which is very key, and that was the reason why cost-reflective strategies had been adopted, especially in case of services like electricity and fuel. Now, if that is reworked, it becomes a very big question mark as to how debt sustainability analysis will be taken forward.
Yes, taking over at a juncture where they're looking at a battered economy and reviving the same economy is topmost challenge. Finally, one quick question. What is really expected now as far as this relationship with India is concerned under President Dissanayake?
Sakal, you see, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has tweeted, and he has mentioned this, that India is definitely looking forward to working with the new president, Mr. Dissanayake. And as of now, if I have to talk about a little bit of a perspective, over the last 10 years, India's neighborhood first policy has done wonders, especially in the neighborhood. And if we talk about Sri Lanka itself, over the last 2.5, 3 years, if we see, the relations have been at a very considerable height. Especially after $4.5 billion assistance that India had provided in 2022 through various lines of credit as well as currency swaps. And in addition to that, India had provided essential goods such as fuel, fertilizer, medicines, as well as food grains. That has earned considerable goodwill among the Sri Lankans as well as the Sri Lankan polity. That said, it is expected that India and Sri Lanka will be on the same trajectory of an upward movement in terms of the international relations, the bilateral relations. And we hope that the regional cooperation will further strengthen between the two countries.
Well, interestingly, has also hinted at holding general elections, but not really mentioning any timeline. Well, political stability and economic stability is the need of the hour. We'll have to see how this pans out from here under the new leadership. Many thanks for joining us from Colombo. Thank you. Thank you very much.